If you're a fan of the paranormal and the unexplained, you're probably somewhat familiar with the hollow earth theory. The idea of a hollow earth isn't new, and it appears in folklore all around the world. It was said that the pharaohs of Egypt communicated with the underworld, which could be accessed via secret tunnels hidden in the pyramids, and Buddhists believed, and still believe, that millions of people live in Agartha, an underground paradise that's ruled by the king of the world. The Navajo believe there are hollow earth entrances in the Grand Canyon, and many of their ancient stories reflect this belief. It's also said that the Hopis came out of the earth from one of the earth entrances, and the ant people that are seen on their rocks are pictographs of some of the species or the people who live inside of the earth. With regards to the movie Godzilla vs. Kong, in the MonsterVerse, the hollow earth is where Godzilla, Kong, and the rest of the Titans come from. It's their home. They're able to travel throughout the world using an extensive underground tunnel without being seen. It's where Skull Island originated, and in ancient times, Kong's species fought against a member of Godzilla's species for dominance inside the hollow earth. The ecosystem radiates radioactive energy constantly, and that allows the Titans to grow to such massive sizes. And a fortress that belongs to Kong's species is also there, as well as a throne that was once held by his ancestors. And after Godzilla almost died from the oxygen destroyer bomb in Godzilla King of the Monsters, he went back to his home in the hollow earth to regenerate. So what is the hollow earth theory? What does it say? The hollow earth theory is an actual scientific theory that began in the late 1600s and was disproven but still accepted by some in the mid to late 1700s. One of the theories says that the interior of the earth is hollow, with hidden openings at both the north and the south poles, and that it may be home to animals that date back to prehistoric times. I've read stories of people seeing Tyrannosaurus Rex down there. The theory also says that there's a separate ecosystem that's sustained by the sun inside of the earth. A person that's traveling on either land or on the ocean could potentially go over an edge of the hole and not even be aware of it. The holes have never been seen from the air because pilots are fooled by their compasses into believing they're crossing the pole when they're actually following the hole's magnetic realm. That's what people that believe in hollow earth theory say. Those that agree with the theory, as well as the flat earth theory, believe that NASA is hiding the truth from us by editing the hole to the hollow earth out of their images. So how do you get into the hollow earth? In almost all cultures on the planet throughout history, there's mention of entrances where we can enter the hollow earth. And this is a list of some of the entrances. You have Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, the Superstition Mountains in Arizona, Mount Shasta, the Hindu Kush Mountains that stretch all the way across 8 countries from Afghanistan to Myanmar. There are several entrances in Brazil, there's one in Italy, there's an entrance in the Himalayan mountains, India, the pyramids of Giza, King Solomon's mines, there's a cavern at the Grand Canyon, and you also have the North and the South Poles. Supposedly, the South Pole is much smaller than the North Pole entrance, and it's completely surrounded by the US military and civilian bases. Edmund Halley of Halley's Comet may be the first person to scientifically speculate about a hollow earth. In 1692, he noticed that the Earth's magnetic field was unpredictable and that its lines shifted from year to year, so his theory said that the planet is a series of nested spherical shells spinning in different directions, all surrounding a central core, and that the space between each shell may have had atmospheres that were capable of supporting life. He believed that the poles of these inner shells threw off our magnetic field. His idea was expanded upon over the next few centuries to the belief that the entire interior of the earth is just one extremely large cavern with a small sun that hangs in the center, that's creating a lush, livable environment inside of the earth. In 1811, a Norwegian sailor named Olaf Jansen and his father claimed that they accidentally sailed through an entrance to the inside of the earth at the North Pole. He claims to have lived inside the earth in paradise for years with his father and other humans who were said to be 12 feet tall and were immune from illness. And this is a similar pattern. This is what most people say in their stories. The people or species that live inside of the hollow earth are extremely tall, they're extremely healthy, and they're very old. He referred to it as the City of Eden, and he said that it was located in what seemed to be a beautiful valley, even though it was actually on the tallest mountain plateau of the inner continent. On April 10th, in 1818, John Sims Jr. issued a one-page circular that was addressed to all of the world that said, "I declare the earth is hollow and habitable within, containing a number of solid concentric spheres, one within the other, and that it's open at the poles 12 or 16 degrees, and I pledge my life in support of this truth, and am ready to explore the hollow, if the world will support and aid me in the undertaking." The opening at the poles came to be known as Sims holes. He believed the concentric spheres in the hollow earth would be illuminated by the sun being reflected off of the outer surface of the sphere beneath it, and that it would be habitable. Because the land was warm and rich and stocked with vegetables and animals, and maybe even humans. He also believed that the spheres revolved at different rates and upon different axes, and that the instability of magnetic north in the Arctic could be explained by travelers moving across and along the area between the inner and outer layers. To him, the whole universe was hollow. And in 1822, he and his supporters got Congress to vote on funding for his expedition, but it was shot down. There hadn't been any known successful trips to the poles at the time, so his proposal wasn't as easily disproved as it would be today. One of the most popular stories about the hollow earth is from an alleged journal entry by Medal of Honor recipient Admiral Byrd. He was the first person to fly over the North and the South Poles. During Operation High Jump, in 1947, he kept a journal, and in the journal he wrote about flying into one of the Sims holes and making contact with a race that lives inside the earth. Inside the earth, he met the city's leader, a person that they called the Master, and he told him of the concerns about what was happening on the surface of the earth. He said that they became interested in us right after the first atomic bombs fell over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were so concerned that they sent their flying machines to the surface to investigate what we'd done. They had never interfered before in our wars and barbarity, but they felt that they had to speak to us because man had learned to tamper with a certain power that wasn't meant for us to use, atomic energy. They had previously delivered messages to our political leaders that they referred to as the power of our world, but they didn't heed their warning. Before he died, he said that there existed a land between the pole that was an enchanted continent in the sky, a permanent mystery of Earth. That land was the legendary Rainbow City, which is an ancient and extremely advanced civilization underground in the Arctic. A more extensive description of Rainbow City was given in the Hefferland manuscript that was written in the 40s, and according to some, during his flight over the North Pole, he said via radio that beneath him there wasn't snow, but huge areas of land with mountains, forests, and vegetation. There were huge lakes and rivers and animals that resembled mammoths. Sounds like a really beautiful place. In 1961, Dr. Hank Craftsman, a Los Angeles attorney, was taken by a friend. This friend was a Hopi Indian through a cavern entrance near where the Little Colorado River empties into the Grand Canyon when he was about 26 years old, and he was a student at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. He talked about an escalator that travels at the speed of light and that he boarded a flying machine that moved through these subterranean tunnels on energy fields. There was a large room that had many doors all around with strange markings on them. His friend explained that the doors were an added precaution in case an unauthorized person had entered the hollow earth. The person wouldn't know which door actually led to the city. His friend walked up to one of the doors. He placed his hand over a symbol in the center, and they entered a clean white purification room with a light purple glow where all of the negativities and bacteria were removed from their bodies, both outside and inside. The sky was a beautiful blue. There were no clouds in the sky, and the sun was stationary. The air was the freshest that he had ever breathed. The houses were all built in the Greek style with columns and red tile roofs. The rooms were all open and airy with no glass in the windows. There were gardens with bright flowers, and plants were everywhere. It was very quiet, other than the soft rush of wind, which was constant. The wind was pulled in from the north and south polar openings by machines which were powered by the inner sun. It was then blown back through tunnels to the surface of the Earth in hundreds of places. This system was designed to compensate for the gravitational pull and centrifugal force of the Earth and the heat of the Sun in order to maintain the gravity and a constant temperature of 76 degrees. Retired Colonel Billy F. Woodard was taken in a flying saucer to our hollow Earth through the North Pole opening at the age of 12 in 1964, and he was returned 6 months later. Later, while he was working at Area 51, he was taken to the hollow Earth 4 times on special missions for our military in a hollow Earth tunnel train after Area 51 workers broke into their tunnel beneath Area 51. According to Rodney Clough, author of World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow, the inhabitants of the hollow Earth are the descendants of the lost 10 tribes of Israel, and they were guided there through the North Pole opened by God. He also believes there's a real-life Jurassic Park in the hollow Earth with exotic animals, and it's where heaven is located. The only desire of the inhabitants is to live in peace. They have flying saucers that they use to defend their home when needed, and they're occasionally seen above ground. Regarding UFOs, some believe they aren't from other planets at all, and that they're actually made by beings inside of the Earth. The inhabitants have lifespans equal to those of the Methuselahs of the Bible, and they have perfect health. Their science is much more advanced because they live so much longer. The climate is perfect and is said to be responsible for the animals and the humans being larger than those on the surface. Trees grow up to 1,000 feet tall, and humans can grow as tall as 15 feet. In the early 2000s, he was part of an expedition known today as the North Pole Inner Earth Expedition, and after several setbacks, the expedition was put on hiatus. They were planning to charter one of the world's largest ice-breaking ships straight to the North Pole, where they were hoping to contact the inhabitants of the hollow Earth through the hole they believed they would find there. Clough believes that the many setbacks to the project are the work of an international banking conspiracy, but he's hopeful they will someday be able to get the funding and a new expedition leader can continue the project. Some say that Hitler and his top advisors believed that the Earth was hollow. So instead of being caught by Soviet forces as they stormed Berlin, some believe that there's a conspiracy that he and some of his men escaped to an underground tunnel, and they flew to Antarctica and they entered the hollow Earth through an opening at the South Pole. The opening isn't seen by most because it's claimed that there's a no-fly zone above it. And according to the Hollow Earth Research Society in Ontario, Canada, they're still there, Hitler and his men. I don't know how, but okay. After the war, the organization claims the Allies discovered that more than 2,000 scientists from Germany and Italy had vanished, along with almost 1 million people, to the land beyond the South Pole. I hope you enjoyed that. My next video will be on the hollow moon theory. Thanks for watching.